we're here today at the Hingham Public Library, and we're podcasting with author Seth Mnookin, who wrote Feeding the Monster, How Money, Smarts, and Nerve Took a Team to the Top. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And I think a lot of people want to know about the Red Sox ownership and the tension between Larry Lucchino and Theo Epstein. Can you tell us a little bit about that, and did you actually experience a lot of that and see a lot of it?
Well, one of the fascinating things about this project was when I began it, right before the 2005 season, before spring training actually, the Red Sox were probably the most celebrated team in the country, perhaps in some ways in baseball history, because they had, quote unquote, broken the curse, beaten their arch rivals, the Yankees, and done it in such dramatic fashion. So I don't think there was anyone, including myself, who predicted the turmoil that ended up really defining last season between General Manager Theo Epstein and CEO Larry Lucchino. As I spent more and more time with the team, it was something that certainly became apparent to me as an issue. Theo first began working with and for Larry when he was just in college, when he was an intern with the Baltimore Orioles, which Larry ran at the time. So anytime I think you have that transition from mentor-protege to peer-peer, that's going to be difficult at times. Right. There was also this issue of, at that point, by the end of the 2005 season, really 2 years of a period in which both men felt as if the other was not out to protect him, did not have his back. And because of the frenzy of leading up to the championship, of really beginning with the 2003 loss in the American League Championship Series to the Yankees, there was no time to get this out in the open and address it. And by the time that exploded with Theo's resignation, it was something that I had been very aware of for quite some time.
What's your take on either one of them? I mean, what kind of person are they? Can you?
Well, they're both phenomenally creative and incredibly hardworking. There was this sort of myth that the tension arose from Larry stepping on Theo's toes in regards to baseball operations, and that was never true. The tension really had much more to do with the all-consuming nature of baseball in Boston, which I'm sure anyone who lives within a couple hundred miles of Fenway is familiar with. And it was something that Theo, as someone who grew up, literally within walking distance of Fenway, I think felt more acutely than a lot of people. And he began to feel more and more suffocated by it. Larry is someone who is very aware of the need to have a positive public relations campaign, always do that kind of outreach. And so in some ways that was more of an issue than anything else.
Well, how were the players' reaction to Theo's revolving door status?
There was certainly some concern because it all happened in the off season and he was back by the time the season began. There was not the kind of anxiety, clubhouse consuming anxiety that I think you would have had if it had occurred in the middle of the season. I talked to Terry Francona during the period in between when Theo left and came back, and he was a little bit nervous about it. I know Curt Schilling was a little bit nervous about it, but the season is so all-consuming and overwhelming that for the most part, the players just want to stay in shape, but kind of veg out as much as they can.
Okay, Seth, thank you so much for giving us an insight to the players and to the front office, and I appreciate it. And this book is really great.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.